Hi guys, welcome to ForTheGeeks. In this video I'm going to talk about some cool JavaScript functions, one-liners, and some new ways to do certain things. Something I think the front-end devs should know. So let's see now, let's see those. So first one I'm doing is reversing a string. So I just create a reverse a string variable which takes a str and then I just split it based on a space and then reverse it and join it with a space back again. So when you do, for in this instance I'm passing hello world, so I expect it to split based on space, and then basically the output should be world hello, and that's what it is. So that's how you reverse a string. Now let's look at how to capitalize the first character of any given string. So I create a const which takes str and I use char at 0 and make it uppercase there. So I pass in a string called Manju and I expect M to be uppercase here. There's this small error. I think I mistyped it. So instead of caret I put it cat, so CHAT. So I made that mistake, but I corrected that now. Now you can see it's uppercase M, and that is what we were expecting it to be. Now if you're wondering how I got the output below, I installed an extension and it's called Code Runner, CODE runner, Code Runner, and after that basically if you just press Ctrl Alt and N, it will run the JavaScript file and it will show you the output below. It's very handy. I think it supports Java and certain other languages too. I have created another video which just talks about the extensions I have on my VS Code, and Code Runner is one of them. So you can look at that video. I will put the link to that video in the description box below. Now let's try to capitalize first letter of each word, right? So given a string, I would capitalize the first letter of each word. So I use regex here. I will explain you what the regex is. So let's send in a string. Manju is in the library, right? Expect first letter of each word to be caps. So when I run it, you can see that is what we were expecting, and we got that same result. And now coming to the regex, /b means it's a word boundary assertion. So basically it means a word character is separated by a non-word character and it will find the boundary. So basically word boundaries. /w matches any word character which is lowercase a to z, uppercase a to z, 0 to 9, or an underscore. And g means global search. Basically it will look globally throughout the string. Now let's look at a shortcut to print a console with a custom function. So I like pr, print, right? Pr. Let's use that. So I do console.log.bind and it to the document object. And from here on, I can just use pr instead of console.log. Document has to be inside the double quote string. And now you can say I don't need to type console.log everywhere. I can just use that pr command and then pass in the string. So that's very handy, very clever way to print console statements, I guess. Now let's look at normal function. The traditional way of writing it, so I just call it normal function and I print am normal function there, and then I do a arrow newer way, newer method. It has been there for quite some time now, but I'll call it newer way here, and I'm just printing am newer way in the console. Obviously the advantage of the arrow function is it's lesser code. You can see here it's just one line of code, and when it comes to using the variable this, it's a bit more easier in arrow function. I will create a separate video if you guys are interested. You can put it in the description box below how this variable works with context to JavaScript. I'll try to create a video of that, but for now, yeah, just remember that arrow functions are much more concise. You can write lesser code, amount of code. Now let's see how to do a single or multiple replace from a string. So I have a string here, hello nice world, right? And hello winter. Basically just add two more so that we have two hellos. So I want to replace just a single hello in this string. So the first replace, I mean the replace method, the first parameter takes the word which we want to actually replace with, and the second one is with what, right? So if you look at both the functions, replace single and replace all, the replace single just replaces the first hello because it encounters it and it replaces hello with hi. The second one, replace all, replaces all the instances of hello. That's because in the replace first parameter we send in a /g, which I told you that's a global thing, right? So it will look for all the occurrences of hello in the string. So that's why it replaces all the hellos with highs in the replace all case. Now let's look at number to string and vice versa. So I have a constant num to string here. So just use a concatenation variable and then the number will be converted to a string. Converting string to a number is very much handy too. So in this const string to num const, I just take a string parameter and just put a plus in front of that and put it in the string back. So on line 43 and 44, so I have marked 1, 2, 3 and I have marked the results. So the first one type of a string, the second one actually adds 3 plus 3 to 6 and it prints the type of str to num3 to a number because we converted string to a number. So it's very clever way, very handy way again to convert a string to number in lesser amount of code. Now let's try to get two elements from an array, last two elements from array, right? So let's assume we have a nums array, and if you want just the last two elements, we can use a -2 there. So here I pass in array 2, 3, 1, 4, 5. If I want 4 and 5, just pass -2 and you can see the output below. It just gets us the result 4 and 5 because we do a -2. Same way -3 we will get. So we'll get output 1, 4 and 5 because we did -3 there. Same way, let's see, get the last occurrence of an item in an array. If you want to see the last occurrence of a particular element in an array, so we'll get the index basically. So the get last item takes an array of nums and the item that we want to find the index of. So I pass in an array and I want number 1. What is the last index of that? And it is 4 because number 1 appears at second as well as fourth index, but the last one is fourth index. So we get the result as number 4. Same way, if I make it 5, there is only one occurrence of 5 and the index there is number 5. Now let's look at how to randomize the arrays. So I will take a const jumble arrays which takes a names array, right? And if you want to jumble it or randomize it, just pass it, create a sort function and pass a random number to it. So I have an array of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and when you call the jumble arrays, it just randomizes these strings and prints the output to the console. Now if you want to populate an array with default values, there are two ways. Obviously the traditional way is just creating, I'm creating a UI components variable with size 4. I'm creating an array called UI component filled array, right? And then I iterate through the variable, and for each element of the array I put an object hidden true, right? So it will create 4 element array, 4 objects in the array, right? But if you want to do it a bit more quickly, I will show you a newer way or quicker way. So I create the same variable again. I call new array, pass in the size, and then call a fill. I fill them with the null and then call a map on that. And in the map, I create the object that I want, which is hidden false. Now, if you're wondering what the fill function does, right? So basically, when you create a new array, it creates an array of array size length. That's fine, but the elements are empty slots, not filled with any value. So they don't even have a value of undefined there. And the map function in JavaScript only operates on elements that have any values. Even undefined, it's okay, but it needs to have any values, some value. But it does not operate on any empty slots. Therefore, when we create an array, we have to use this fill function. We fill it with null and then we call a map on it. So that is how we get the desired result. And that is what we do here. You can see we got hidden false for all the 4 variables. Now let's see how to fill an array with integer values. So I create a default array of size 4. I want all the default values to be 0, and I can just do that with fill function here. Now let's look at a ternary operator for conditional assignment. So I say that okay, there is a is paid variable which is true. Allow entry only if he has paid it, he or she has paid it, right? So if is paid, then allow entry is yes, otherwise no. So all can be done in one line in a ternary operator. So yeah, that is something which is quite cool, I guess. Now we can see how to use reduce function. So there is traditional for each loop and then there is reduce function, right? So I will show you a scenario wherein I have a JSON object. I am running it on JSON Server Typicode. So basically it has a list of objects with ID and order ID, right? So ID, assume it is the user ID 1. So user ID 1 has got order ID 100, then there is order 103 and 104. Same way order number user 2 has 101 and few more orders like that. So basically I want to group all the user IDs. So I want user ID 1 and all their orders in as an array. So the traditional way can be you just do a fetch, then you convert it into a JSON. See, so basically user ID 1 has 4 objects, right? So I iterate through the orders, and for each order I push it into an object, user orders object, and if the order is already existing I do a push, otherwise I create the array, right? So now you can see we get the desired result. This is the traditional way. It's good, still works well, but there is another way you can do that. You can do and achieve the same result, that is through a reduce function, and let's see that now. So I do the same thing. I do a fetch, I do a convert into the JSON, and then in the subsequent then I use reduce function. I do orders or reduce, and reduce takes an accumulator and an order. So it basically accumulates and convert and put it into one object the way we want it, right? So it gives an error here. I have to return the accumulator here, and now if I run it, you can see we get the desired result. So all orders are grouped as per the user ID, and that is what we were after. So these are the two ways you can use the reduce function. I will put the JSON Typicode JSON Server link in the description box below, so that you can just use the same if you want to. Now I will show you how to convert arrays to objects. This is again the traditional way. You iterate through the array using a for each, and then you just convert it to an object. So you have 0 as Sunday, 1 as Monday, 2 as key as Tuesday, 3 as Wednesday. Another way, the newer way, so I create a variable result1 and just use the spread operator on weekdays, and we get the arrays to object. Done. Much easier. I will run it, and you can see the last 2 records, first one from the first method and the second one using the spread operator. So much easier. Now let's look at how to create objects to arrays. So I have an object person which has a name, age, location and level. I want to print all the keys. So you can again iterate through the using the for loop, and it prints all the keys. So this is the traditional way. If you want to do it a bit more easily, we can use this object.keys method, which is a function given to us by JavaScript itself now. So if you use object.keys and pass in the object, you get all the keys. So you can see again the first one is through the for loop and the second one is through the object.keys one. Now if you want to calculate number of days between two given dates, so I have created a date diff variable here, and first I will show you what given a date, and if you call get time on that, what it returns. So you will see a big number. So basically it is milliseconds, and milliseconds since January 1st 1970. So I call mat.absolute and date1.getTime minus date2.getTime. So you need an absolute function, because if date2 is bigger, you may get a negative number, and you just want the absolute difference, the number of days difference. You don't want it in negative. So the two dates are being passed to it, to our variable constant date diff variable, and then I have to see, because it will give you milliseconds, right? So you have to subtract and then convert it into a number of days. To do that, you convert millisecond to second, so that's why you're dividing by 1000, and then second to a minute, 60 again into an hour, and then 24 is a day. So you'll get number of days. So now I will make the second date as 1st of August. So the first one is 2nd of August, and the second variable is second date is 1st of August. So basically you should just see one day, right? So that's what I will do here. I run it and I get number one, because there is only one day of difference. So that's how you calculate number of days between two given dates. Now, given a date, if you want to find which day of year it is, let's do that. So before that, you have to understand what get full year does. So basically get full year will give you the year from a given date. So I have a date 2024 0802. So when you do get full year on that, it will just give us the year 2024, and that is what we can use to find the day of year. Now there is another function, new date 2024-01. So basically the second is the second parameter the date function takes here is the month. So month starts from 0. So 0 means January, right? So that's what it does. And third parameter which we are sending to new date is the day. So when you create that, it gives you 1st Jan 2024. So let's see if you pass in 2nd August, which day of the year it is, right? And I create mat.absolute new date day.getFull year. So the first parameter here, what we're doing is we are finding the date from January 1st of the given year we want, and the second is the date which was passed in, right? And then we use getTime, again converted into number of days by dividing 1060 into 16 by 24, like I said earlier. So it will give us the number of days, and we get 215 now. So 2nd August is 215th day of the year. Now lastly, let's look at the from function given by arrays. So we have a nums array 246. We can use array.from, and then for each variable, or I would say item, we are saying double it, and that's why it prints 4, 8 and 12. So that's how you can use the from function of arrays. So that's it for this video, guys. Hope you liked it. Of course, there will be many more JavaScript and newer JavaScript functions that can be used. But if you guys like this video, do drop in the comments, and I will try to create another video of some other JavaScript and newer functions that we can use in our day-to-day projects. Hope you guys liked it. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Take care.